Hello, everybody. Hello, hello.
Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
Darcy.
Hi, Jemima.
Hi, good to see you guys. Welcome to Awaken Positive Power, where Darcy Marta and myself, Jemima Godsoe, will be talking to you regarding depression, mental health awareness, and suicide prevention. Heavy topics, we know, but we are here to normalize this topic, normalize these subjects, create a conversation between us and yourselves, just to know we are not alone. Hello, we have a little visitor. To know we are not alone. See, we're all 100%. Excuse me, kitty. 100%. Yeah, we have two kitties. 100% authentic, guys. We're meant to just be showing up as our beautiful selves. No worries, no qualms. If things mess up, that's going to be totally acceptable. Just like life, hey. That doesn't. Don't need to make pretend that everything's okay all the time, and that's
Right.
what we're trying to just introduce. That it's okay to feel how we're feeling, and hopefully this platform will make you feel that you're not alone and that you have a safe zone to come and listen to. And if you have any queries, questions, concerns, please ask down below. You know that, or spread the word to your friends. We've got some great conversations going on here over the last few weeks, and we'd love for you to share in them and be a part of our beautiful family. So, welcome, Das. Hi again, my beautiful
Hi,
angel.
Jemima.
Hello,
Hello,
how are
my
you doing this week?
friend. How you doing?
Good, good, good. Yeah, I'm on the road again. I'm traveling, so it's it stirs up many emotions. I'm actually interviewing quite a few, as you are too, Das. Some great people with some heavy sort of stuff going on. So I'm as an empath, I find it really hard not to take on the feelings, and because I'm feeling a little scattered myself, still getting used to being on the road. um I'm a Pisces. I'm already out there, airy and fairy, and my groundedness is a challenge these days. But I'm wonderful. I mean, I have nothing to complain about, which makes me feel kind of selfish when I do have a little bit of a bitch, because I feel like, what have I got to complain about? But there isn't that what we're saying, to value our feelings. I mean,
Right.
isn't that crazy that just because I feel like everything's pretty much all right for me, how it's wrong to have these feelings? And I just think that's so crazy. Like, isn't it okay to not feel okay? What do you say, Das, to that? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
okay. I'm
Okay.
a little overwhelmed myself with a lot of stuff going on
That's so
in
true.
my life. And, that's the thing about being a mom is that you always have to kind of maintain, you have to keep going. It's really interesting that women, I think, and I don't want to take that away from men either. But as moms, we just have to find a way to keep going no matter
Yeah.
what's going on around us. And
Yeah.
so, and then sometimes I just hit a saturation point
Yeah.
where I I'm like, why am I not doing my own work for myself?
Yeah.
Right? I can do restorative hypnotherapy for others, but I have to remember to take the time to do it for myself.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. Take the time to do it for myself. And
It
so,
is that taking the time. I know I'm with a friend right now, in beautiful Paonia, Colorado. Oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. But anyway, she's sort of expecting. She goes, "What do you do?" And I told her my daily routine and my work, my practice, what I do, and it takes work. She's got so much work involved. I'm like, oh, yeah, hello. Yeah, it's not just going to happen. And it does. It's making time for yourself as well as the jobs that you have for other people. And I don't know how you do it as mothers. Seriously, I chose not to be a mom, because I do at a certain age in my life or stage in my life, because I understood that the energy and the willpower and everything it takes to have this lifelong role. I mean, hats off to you. I find myself and my cats enough to deal with. And it's
fair
like,
enough. I think
yeah,
that I think that's brilliant. I wish more people would give themselves the understanding that just because we're women doesn't mean that we have to be mothers. Not
exactly,
all of us are really meant or cut out to be mothers,
exactly.
and I know there's a lot of people that really want to be parents, but it changes everything in life. It changes everything.
Yeah,
And and literally and it's good. I mean, being a parent for me has been really good. It's been very grounding, and I'm really grateful for my child.
yeah,
And it's taught me so much about communicating and looking at my family patterns that I probably wouldn't have seen if it
Mm,
wasn't for the fact that I had a child, you
yeah.
know. So that has just been out amazing, amazing.
Well, I have to
But
say, hats off, cheers to all you mums out there. Like respect, respect. Like honestly, I admire you all. My mum included, of course, is the best mum in the world. I know you all say your mum, my mum really is okay. All right.
okay, I'm gonna go with that. I'm going with
Okay, thank you. Anyway, yeah. So Das, you had a really good topic this week regarding feelings and depression. Firstly, what is the difference between feelings and depression? And then also, if we deny our feelings, especially if they're feelings of lack of self-worth or something negative, or the society calls negative, that can lead to depression if we don't talk about our feelings.
right.
So what made you just like want to talk about this, Das? Where did this sort of inspiration come from to talk about this amazing subject? Because it's such a powerful sort of topic, feelings and depression. What's going on for you there?
Well, I had a couple of conversations over the last couple of days with friends who I started noticing. Well, I actually been noticing this recently is that people are tossing the word depression around, kind of like the word Kleenex. You know, you need a Kleenex, need a Kleenex. But you know, not every emotional moment that's difficult is depression.
Yeah.
It is not the same. And I think that we really need to learn to honor our feelings, you know, and start really understanding the dynamics of feelings. And I think one of the saddest things is that in society is that we're not allowed to acknowledge our feelings, you know. So, you know, I work with little kids sometimes, and so part of my week is spent with little children, and one of the things we teach them is how to self-regulate. And one of the ways we do that is we tell them, oh, you're really angry. We help them identify their feelings. Oh, you're really angry. Pause. Let's reset yourself. Let's take a pause. Let's reset yourself. Or, you know, oh, I see you're really sad. You're really frustrated. You wanted that. It's not yours. And you wanted it. And it's hard to wait for your turn. It's hard to wait. And this dialogue translates up into adulthood.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
what?
was gonna say all adults need that right now. My God. Hello.
Yeah, we
Like,
do.
yeah.
We do. Oh my God, I have to wait again. I'm waiting for that check to come in. I am waiting for so and so to call me. I went on a job interview and I am waiting to hear back from them. And you know, waiting is one of the hardest things to do. It, you know, it just strangles the energy because we grasp and we cling along, or we cling on to the waiting, and to just take that sense of trust and release, you know, and we just put it out there, and then we continue to do other things is the magic. That's
Well,
the
the
magic.
waiting, don't you think the waiting can cause that anxiety?
Yeah,
Stress
absolutely.
in the body, you know, the physical, you can feel the tension in your body when you're waiting for. I know my patience is quite low, and I'm practicing patience a lot these days because
Yeah,
so much is about the unknown and just waiting for things to progress in a natural way, in a flow of life. But
right.
I get that angst of I don't know if it's a habit
Yeah,
or you know, well, what if I don't know? And I get that tension in my body, and then I start to feel those feelings come up, and I create my own chaos in a
right.
way, you know.
Right. Well, that's what depression is not being able to accept, deal with, um, handle the unknown. Because let's face it, life is full of unknown. The only thing we do know is this moment here right now. This is it. So we can have dreams and plans and ideas, and that's what we want to have. We want to have plans. You want to plan, you want to dream, and you want to take action, right? But there's always going to be an element of unknown. Kitty cat.
So
So
excuse me.
no matter how much you plan, there's always going to be that unknown. And I think depression is really a, something that happens to us when we can't handle or deal with the unknown. well, if I do this, then this bad thing might happen over here. Or I don't know if I should try that because that might happen over there. And then we stop ourselves from moving forward.
And
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's the fear, the unknown becomes a fear. But
Right.
the fear is like the lack of faith in the unknown.
Right.
So kind of this twisted connection between, so
Yeah.
if you lack that faith, then the fear sets in, but it's just the unknown that you need to surrender to. So
Right.
you can avoid the depression, or you can avoid that tension without fearing the unknown, but having the faith that it will work out for your benefit.
Right. And I like to say, let's acknowledge the fear.
I like to say,
Let's acknowledge the fear. Let's acknowledge that we all have this fear of the unknown. I mean, some of us don't. Of course, there are people who's like, wow, that's a party. That's fun for me. Who knows what'll happen? Let's just see. Right. But then there are people that are paralyzed by that. Absolutely paralyzed by that. And I'd say, first of all, acknowledge the fear, right? Acknowledge it. And then, yeah, if you want to talk about faith, then you can say, well, you are having faith. You are having faith in fear.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So let's stop having faith in fear and let's start having faith in our plans and right action and support from the universe. And let's have faith and support and ourselves. Let's have faith in ourselves and our ability to be resilient and to cope and to, be a part of what's going on in the world, right? But so depression, I feel like we are tossing it around without really acknowledging the depth of feeling and being okay with the depth of our feeling on a day-to-day level, right? So again, I'm going to go back to my kids. Okay. So preschool has started and the kids have to come into a place where they don't know anybody. They don't have expectations. They've been at home with mom and dad in their little nest. And now there's a whole bunch of little kids and it's noisy and it's energetic and there's strange adults and they got to be okay with that. And that's so difficult, so traumatic. And so they'll have one good day and then the next day they'll cry hysterically that they don't want to come in the room. And the parents look at me and they go, why won't they come in today? They came in yesterday. I said, because today's a different day. It could be a play date hangover. It could be that their biorhythm is low. It could be that they've realized that they're going to frickin' be here for the next 5 days and that they want to be home. They realize that you are going to be gone and they got to play with me, which is not necessarily so bad. But I like to say, yeah, it is fun. But and then you translate that into being an adult, you see, and you go back into being adult and you say, yeah, that's what happens to us that we cannot acknowledge. I'm having a low biorhythm day. I'm having an emotionally filled day. I'm really overwhelmed. What does overwhelmed mean? It means I'm sad today. Yeah. I'm sad and maybe I'm a little mad today. I'm angry. I'm sad and angry. I'm walking around pretending to be okay because I got to drive in traffic, because I got to go to the grocery store, because I have to go to work, because I have to help XYZ people, And so where do I get a chance to express that sadness? Yeah. And that anger? Where do I get to say, can I just call in sick at work and say, I'm taking a personal day and lying on my floor and doing my meditation all day long, or perhaps I'm not going to get out of my pajamas today and just be sad all day. And your job would go, what? Yeah. Right. A lot of people put it into their smoking, right? Or avoidance behaviors like drinking and etc. Anything that makes it easier than just sitting with their feelings, right? And I really feel that if we could allow ourselves to realize that we have ebbs and flows and peaks and valleys with our emotional life throughout the day and throughout the week and then throughout the month. And then throughout the year, we have cycles of feelings, and to honor those feelings as opposed to suppressing and depressing.
What I find us challenging is like what I said before was this, it seems to be, and I think a lot of people suffer from this, is that the even more sort of self-abuse comes from not having a justified reason to feel sad or depressed or overwhelmed that day. Like you know, everything's going well for me, but I feel really emotional and really wave of hoo-ha, and I blame it on like my Piscean traits and being a wonderfully emotional person, which is great, but it's like it still makes me have that aggression with myself, going, well, or guilt even of
Right.
feeling like unjustified feelings. And why is that? I mean, who promoted that? Was that society once again sort of promoting that it's not okay to have just to have odd feelings out of the blue because it's just the way it is? Or I mean, you know, why do we as humans sort of beat ourselves up? We don't have a real reason, like someone died or this or that, to feel sad in a day. You know,
Right.
it seems to be, and it's
It,
hard.
it, yeah, it's been taken out of our lifestyle. And, you know, we went into the work ethic. You know, America was founded on the Puritan work ethic. You know, it's all about work. And then the seventh day you rest. But even the seventh day, you don't rest because you got to go to church and you got to go and make dinner for everybody and you got to be with the family and you got to be doing stuff, right? And a long time ago, the Native Americans used to have sweat lodges and the women had the moon lodge.
Yeah.
And literally, you go in and you could be in silence or you can, you know, purify your body and take care of yourself. And the women used to help each other in the moon lodge, and that was a time of introspection. And we don't have that. We don't even let ourselves have a cold. We take cold medicine and go to work sick, right? Here's another great example of it. When you're in the workforce, what used to happen is people who smoked got to go outside for a cigarette break whenever they needed one.
Yeah.
But if you were not a smoker,
You stuck with the
chances
table.
are you would go maybe take your 15-minute break. But if you were really busy and wanted to look good and not like a slacker, you probably skip that break. Maybe you go over to the, what is it, what they always joke and say, the water cooler, stand there while drinking some water, right? But the idea that we would give a smoker a break as opposed to a non-smoker is the example. It's the example of how we're so overworked that we can't even allow us to take our 15 minutes for ourselves and honor it.
So with that being said, Das,
Yeah.
how would one deal with that? I mean, like, because I know society is changing and we're trying to
Yes.
get this whole shift happening to enable us to be as pure and as honest of beings as possible and honor our feelings and however it is. Do we just say, I feel sad, I'm going? I know that as my own boss, I've come on to my Pilates classes in a mess and my beautiful clients, and I've been boring, hey, let's lift the leg, guys. And, I mean, it's funny, they still are around, bless them, but I let myself feel emotions that I'm okay to them, and I just got to go through this. But that's very unusual, and I don't know if a boss would keep me on if it wasn't my own company. You know what I mean? It's like, because it's such extreme emotional ownership, but it was necessary because I couldn't hold it back, and I wasn't about to cancel class for the sake of my own well-being as much as my clients. So, I mean, in terms of a different situation with a boss or something, or a hierarchy sort of status quo, how would you deal with that these days? I mean, how do you own your feelings without having a mark next to your name saying, oh, right, that's that weird one, or, you know, whatever it may be? What do you think?
I don't think we're there yet as a society to do that.
Yeah.
But I do think that people do need to allow themselves to take a personal day and to say, how am I feeling today? I remember when I first moved to New York, I was so overwhelmed by New York, you know, the energy, the electricity. I mean, here it is, an island surrounded by water with grids going all over the place. And I was a temp with a company. And so if I had those days, I would call in and say, oh, I'm not coming in today, but I was a temp, so whatever. And I would literally take a bath, you know, an Epsom salt bath. I would nap, play music, drink tea, and decompress. I called it my decompression days. And I would allow myself to have whatever big feelings I needed. And I'd meditate my way through it, or sing and dance and chant and let myself feel, this is a day I need to decompress. Um, and I think people really need to allow themselves to take advantage of that kind of thing. If you don't have, and this is a really interesting point with COVID and people not being able to go to work. And then I think at home they started to realize, why am I going back to a job that barely pays me, has no medical benefits, no retirement, and no personal days? Right? I saw some restaurant, I heard a story on the news recently that some restaurant had stayed open all through the COVID pandemic. And they worked really hard to, serve the community. And they were having a hard time getting employees to come back now, but they still had, the same staff working. So they decided to close their restaurant for 2 days to give their employees a break for 2 days. Unpaid.
Wow. Did they all quit? Like, what the hey? You know what I mean?
I'm like, I thought, oh, that's good. So you're allowing them. And then they said, well, if you do want to come to work because you need it, of course, we will have work for you available.
It's crazy.
But I'm like, come on.
No respect, or I don't know. It's just like
no value. And I think people are going, wow, why am I, working my fingers to the bone because I am getting nothing back.
Yeah.
I'm getting nothing. I'm not even getting enough money to live on. And you know what? I think that a lot of people are dealing with the emotional fallout from all of this.
Yeah.
It's an emotional fallout. It really is. And I hope, what I'm hoping for, and the reason why I wanted this conversation is I'm hoping that people can acknowledge how it's made them feel as an individual.
Yeah.
What goes on in the country and what goes on at your company and what goes on in your family, in the world, everything. It affects you as an individual. And to finally honor your feelings and say, wow, this really makes me mad. What do I do with this anger? Oh, I lost your voice. Oh, I lost you. I lost you.
For a second. Can you hear me, Das?
Yeah, there you are.
I lost you the last bit. So I think on my end's a little slow. So I'm just going to keep my camera on like this.
Okay.
But what I was going to say too, sorry, distracted.
Oh.
Was, don't you think that COVID, the joy of COVID, dare I say that, guys, no insult to the people who have suffered, but is that it has brought people into that space of what is really important in this life, which is about our self-respect and our interpersonal relationships, and how we deal with each other and working with each other on a personal level rather than making money or busy, go, or all for the sake of what? Like, I mean, you go home and you don't even have a relationship with the one you love, or you go home and you just go back to bed, or all for what? I mean, is that what life is about? No, I don't think so. So, I mean, I think this sort of time of COVID has forced people to reassess what is important to them. I think that's where the emotional thing, owning their emotions, owning their place in this world as an individual, and what the effect they can have and how they are affected by everything around them, is way more important than earning a dollar or running around like a maniac, doing things for everybody else, for a business, dare I say,
Right. Well, that's why I think alternative healing methods are really becoming a choice for people, and doing things like taking yoga classes and learning to meditate and finding alternative healing. Because as we stuff our feelings so much, and you don't have to have a reason for feeling what you're feeling. You don't have to have a reason. If you wake up tomorrow and you feel overly sad or overly angry or crazy frustrated, well, you know what? I say own it. Just own it. It's yours. And I always like to look at it this way. If I'm feeling really sad, my sadness is the window to my compassion, right? I learn compassion when I can allow myself to feel sadness.
Mm. Yeah.
So if I wake up tomorrow and I'm so sad I can't function, I need to turn that compassion on myself
Yeah.
and say, you know what? I feel really sad today. I'm really tender. I'm having a tender day, or I'm having a really sad day. And treat myself like a precious gem. Treat myself, to breathing a little bit more, or, on my break at work, maybe taking one of the meditation apps and listening to some soothing music, and honoring myself with eating well, right? Or calling a good friend because I'm sad today. If I wake up and I'm furiously angry, the same thing there. I'm really angry today. If I wake up really angry today, then I need to allow myself to own that.
Yeah.
I'm angry and not have to take it out on somebody. Well, I'm angry because they did this, or I'm angry because those people are doing that. No, just let yourself own your feeling and stop projecting it onto people and
I
say,
think that,
Mhm.
sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
think that ownership too, it really takes the pressure off feeling like have to find a reason behind
Right,
it. If you
right,
just own it and say, yeah, I feel this, and it takes this huge load off to go, you've heard yourself go, yeah, this is doesn't make sense, and that's okay. It really takes that pressure off yourself, let alone having to explain it to anyone else, because you've accepted yourself that it doesn't have to be a reason. And it sort of lightens that mood. Once you own this sort of thing, it takes half the battle is gone. Once what do they say? The awareness is, half the battle, or 80% of the battle. Then putting into action is the rest. But actually owning it and being aware of it is such a feat in itself when it comes to, healing in that path, especially with negative emotions.
right, right. And then I think, if you allow yourself to own it and say, these are my feelings, right? And just honor it, then it's so much easier to let them go because you can only feel it for so long. I'm really angry today. I'm angry today. Okay, own your anger. You're really angry today. How does it make you feel? Where do you feel it in your body? Let's go breathe in and breathe out from that spot. Let's breathe in and breathe out. And anger is I like to say, is the doorway to action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you're angry, you make changes.
Yeah. Totally.
So take that negative energy of anger and use it positively by finding a positive way to make action over what's making you angry, or what
Yeah.
can you do right now to make a positive action to help disseminate or dissipate the anger,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Go bring a sick neighbor some soup, right? Go, hey, do something for somebody else in a positive way. And that helps that anger begin to diminish so that the anger doesn't hold on to you, but you acknowledge it and then you can let it go.
And
And then
anger's
go
yeah,
ahead.
sorry. Anger is a good one because, like, if you bottle up the anger, you just get worse and worse. You feel that fire brewing in yourself because you haven't been able to express it. So then it gets depressed, and we get this huge boil of anger, and then it comes out so much bigger than it should have been in the first place, or would have been in the first place. But if you get to express it, it does just dissipate a lot faster than if we hide it or suppress it, because of social reasons, whatever it may be, or your own self-doubt of why you may be angry. Yeah, if we own everything, it does tend to shift the energy, the emotions tend to change so much more radically than if we suppress it and hide it. And it does end up, as you were saying, if we hide our feelings, it can cause depression because it's just suffocating yourself really with
Right.
this, with not owning your own own feelings, which are uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be, it's not meant to be comfortable. It's an uncomfortable thing sometimes to own your fear or your sadness or your anger. But if you can own it, it does seem to be a lot easier to deal with in long term, I guess.
Sure it is. Sure it is. It's actually even empowering, because then you're not looking at your feelings as something that you have to stop or get rid of because it's bad. You can say, wow, this is how I'm feeling today. I'm going to honor it, and then I'm going to focus this feeling, the energy of this feeling into something. And that becomes much more empowering than trying to stop the feelings. You can't really, you will stop the feelings when you're tired of feeling it. It's like a lot of times people are worried that if they allow their sadness that they won't stop crying. Well, of course not. You'll stop when your body is tired. It'll stop crying, and especially if you appreciate it and own it and say, wow, I have these really big feelings today. This is what it means to be human. This is what it means to be human and have these really deep, big feelings. And fear is another great big feeling that we try to run from and think that we never want to admit to having, right? But fear is the big protector. Without fear, we would get hurt a lot more. So fear is there to teach us something. It's usually to tell us to pause. If you're really afraid, you need to pause and listen to what the fear is telling you. What is it telling you? Is it telling you that the actions you're taking right now are not the right actions, or the people that you're with, or the direction that you're headed in?
What about, sorry, present a challenge. What about when you're in a state of fear? It's hard to stop. It's really difficult to stop and assess all that. Because you just say you have to keep going, or you don't have a chance to stop, or you think you don't have a chance to stop because you just got to move through that fear and keep going, keep pushing. I'm just thinking of a parallel which I was in when I was really freaking scared in San Francisco. And I remember being so scared, but I would not have stopped because the fear of everything that would have happened if I did stop was greater than the fear of what was happening in the moment. Does that make any sense?
I'm just going to tweak that a little bit. You did stop. You were very afraid and you did stop. You stopped and then you said, I have to get out of here.
But that was forced upon me. I didn't choose to get out of there until I was threatened. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like God, thank God the angels would force that moment to stop. But it wouldn't have come, I don't think, unless that forced the circle outside myself forced to stop. So that was a gift, because maybe it was just not, I was meant to stop. But I don't know.
Well, I think we have two conversations happening here. So number one is, when you were in San Francisco, you really weren't listening to yourself very well at all. You really were not in your body at all, number one. And number two, I don't think you knew what you were feeling at any given time. Right. But when they did threaten you, your fear told you that you have to leave. And you left as fast as you did, so that's fight or flight right there. Right. That's fight or flight. Now, as you're calmer and you're more in your body, more in control, I think if something came up that you would say, this doesn't feel right. I'm getting I'm getting this creepy sense. I think that you would listen to it now. Absolutely. And I think sometimes we have to make little decisions that can make us fearful, like making financial decisions can bring up fear. Right. What's financial? It's scary. And you have to say, okay, can I pause and look at my financial decision I'm making now? And is that fear talking to me? Right? Is it telling me you need to rethink and relook at this? Maybe I need to listen to myself. Right? if I'm afraid of moving to the next state. Okay, that's fine. You can own that. Sure, I don't know what to expect. Fear of the unknown. Okay, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. I'm not a big wuss or anything. It's just that I don't know what to expect. And yeah, it can be a little scary, sure. And there's nothing wrong with feeling that way, you know. But we judge ourselves on every feeling we have as if we're supposed to always be okay, you know. Okay, I'm moving to a whole new place and I'm buying a house and I have a whole new job. And yeah, sure, I'm not afraid about anything. It's going to be great, right? It's like, wow, those are all huge things. And you're not supposed to be a little nervous? Of course you are. You know what I used to really like to say to my actors was, I used to like them to admit, first of all, that they were nervous, right? First you had to acknowledge it. And then I used to say, now throw the word out the window. You're never going to be nervous again. You're just excited. Let yourself be excited because you can focus excitement. Yeah. All you can do with nervousness is suppress it, right? Right. But they had to acknowledge it first, because if you're pretending that you're not nervous, well, nothing's going to work. It's not going to work. Right? Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
So how do your kids, like, if they're scared, if you have to, you know, if kid says I'm fearful or frightened, how quickly do they work through that? Because it's really interesting to see how intelligent kids are and how sometimes, sorry adults, how dumb we are. How we've lost all our skills along the way, and how savvy kids are when it's just the new thing they're learning, and they should be our prime example sometimes of how to deal with emotions and work with emotions. And they too, at that stage, they don't know, they haven't had long enough to put down their own feelings, to deny their own feelings. They don't know what that is yet. So I mean,
they also don't know how to identify their own feelings. Okay. So they won't know what fear is all of a sudden. So what if they get scared by somebody? They do a couple of things like freeze. Okay. Right, you can see them freeze. Or they will hit, scream, kick, or bite. That's what they will. If a child's really afraid of something, like afraid of their parent not coming home, you know, they might just start crying, or they might start throwing stuff everywhere. And they won't.
Like, how do you deal with that to calm them down? Like, how long does it take for them to calm down? Do they move through the fear quickly? Like,
well, you know what, this is really a good point, because it ever is one feeling by itself. There she goes. Oh, we lost her again. It's really hard.
There you are.
There you are.
Answer your question again, my love. How did the kids?
Mm-hmm. Did we lose you again?
I'm here. How did the children, so we just lost your volume. So how did the children, how fast they move through that once they own the emotion, how quickly do they move through it? Like, what's their sort of process of it?
Oh, well, with a child, they don't know how to identify necessarily what they're feeling. Okay. So if something scares them, like I said, they might just lie down and cry. Yeah. And you won't know what's wrong, and they won't necessarily know how to communicate, right? Or they might start throwing things or hitting, so they don't really know a lot of times what they're feeling. And all you can do as an adult is observe the fact that they're feeling. So you might say something like, "Oh, I see you're really upset right now."
Right.
"Oh, I see you have some really big feelings right now.
Right.
Do you want to come and sit down? Do you want to try to breathe a second? Can you breathe through your nose? Can you tap your nose and breathe? Yeah. Let's take a deep breath." I try to get them to breathe. Do you want to sit on my lap? Do you want to sit with me for a second? Oh, no? Okay, you want to just keep yelling? Okay, that's good. Go ahead. But we have to be safe. You know, so don't, like, you know, throw yourself on the cement.
But also, Darcy, by you, owning their feelings.
Yeah.
So they,
Honoring it. Yeah.
that must be a profound experience for them, because it's like it
Yeah.
normalizes them that nothing's wrong with them, or they're
Yes.
being listened to, they're being heard.
Yeah.
So that surely enables them to move through the feeling faster or more productively. I don't know how to put that word, but you know what I
Yes,
mean?
no, I know what you're saying. Instead of saying, okay, that's enough. You can stop now. Take a deep breath. You don't need to cry and scream. Everything's okay. Let's just keep going. Come on. Stop crying. Stop screaming. No kicking. No hitting. No biting. No. Go to your room now. That's enough. You know, like we start getting really admonishing as opposed to going, okay, wow, you have some really big feelings going on. I'll just sit right here and wait till they're done. You need them, and you hold the space for them. And you say, because a kid doesn't know how to process all that, right? So you hold the space and you say, I can see, and you help them identify. I can see you're feeling frustrated or sad. You're really sad. You really want your mom right now. Or you're really angry that person bit you, and that must have really hurt. And do you want another ice pack? You're really mad about it. Wow, look how mad you are. Okay. Right. Do you want to come and sit down? No. Okay. Be mad. Okay. I had one little boy who would get so angry that I got a big, huge mat and let him kick and punch it out.
Wow. Okay.
I'm like, he would get so mad, so mad. He could not control it. And he would hurt himself.
Right.
And so I didn't want him to hit something. I'm like, come on, let's go punch. Let's be safe. You can be angry now. Punch it out. Punch it out. Hit the mat, hit the mat, hit the mat, right? Or he'd have him hit it with a pillow, that kind of thing. But I think, as adults, yeah, go punch out the mattress. Take a tennis racket, beat the mattress, and yell at the same time. Right? Get it out of your body. Get it out of your body. And then feelings go in waves, right? They come up, they're big, they're overwhelming. They peak, they crash, they dissolve, and then potentially they'll come back. They'll do the whole same thing. It's just like the ocean waves. Emotions are just like that.
Yeah.
Truly they are. And so let yourself beat your bed with a tennis racket and make some sounds.
At the end of my classes, my fitness classes every day, I say, let's shake it out. Let's be a little weird. Everyone give them permission to shake out all the tension, all the frustration, all the negativity that may feel in their body, mind, and spirit. And man, some of them, some days they go crazy. I just watch them going, ah! But it gives them a permission to be emotionally huge and let out anything that they scream, bash that pillow, whatever it may be. They have an opportunity to be as wild as they can be just for 1 minute. And I know they feel freer and much more relaxed going into their day because they have the opportunity and the permission to do that with their emotions, whatever it may be. Some days they just laugh it off. Other days they're fully crazy, and myself included. But it's such a therapeutic way to own your emotions, but also give you that, to change, as you said, that fear, to change that behavior into something constructive, right, and release it that way. So then you can, go through the flow of those emotions and go through your day.
Jemima, I think there's the perfect treatment. First, they watch your Pilates class with you. Then they come and have a restorative hypnosis session with me.
Woo, sister.
First, you shake it out, get it out, get it out, get it out. And then you can come and decompress and let the subconscious release all of it. Right?
Did you hear that, people? Hello. We're going to talk about collaborating about that together. So we'll get back to you on more about that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, animals do it all the time. Animals do this all the time, right? There's a book called Shaking the Tiger. Can't remember the name of the author, but it's literally about how we hold on to the emotional energy. And I think I always talk about the story about the bear. Did I tell you this? The grizzly bear, right?
I think
charging.
So,
no. Okay, so a friend of mine was a forest ranger. This is really important. So he was a forest ranger and he was going through training with grizzly bears up in Alaska. And he was with a very seasoned forest ranger who was taking him through grizzly country. And they were up on a hillside and they look down the hillside to the valley and they see a mama bear and some cubs. What? Yeah, that's totally dangerous. And the seasoned guy said, okay, just freeze. The wind we're upwind of her. She can't smell us. He says that's both good and bad because they have terrible eyesight.
Right.
So she can't smell us. She sort of sees us. She probably thinks we're two male grizzlies. She's going to charge us. And there's
Ah,
right. And there's nowhere for them to go. So the seasoned guy says to the other guy, he says, stand as still as you can. Don't move. And they had, some width between them, some space between them. And he says, don't move. Don't make a sound. Don't do anything. Stand as still as you can. And they stood there with a female grizzly charging at them,
oh my God.
charging at them. And then she was ready to fight two male grizzlies. She gets up to them. She doesn't smell the other grizzlies. She rushes past them and she rips up a baby sapling tree, rips it to shreds, ripping things all apart, and they're stock still.
Yep.
And then she walks past them and sniffs them and walks past them because she wasn't hunting.
Wow.
She was going to defend. So then my friend fainted. And so
You think?
he said he fainted, he soiled his pants, the whole 9 yards, had to change his clothes. He said it was the most horrible thing, right? But the takeaway I have is exactly that. The animals have fight or flight, and then they have to shake it off. But we have fight or flight 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day. Driving is a fight or flight response. Going to work, dealing with relationships, dealing with situations, dealing with insurance companies, dealing, whatever it is, dealing with the bank. We're in fight or flight mode, and we need to shake it off, right? We need to shake off that intensity and then honor our feelings and then decompress. Take your quiet time, meditate, breathe, take some time for yourself and love yourself. Give yourself a moment, right?
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Das, on that note, would you do the meditation for us? Firstly, can we shake everyone? Can we shake it off? Ah, shake it off. Ah, feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, really. I
Oh
think
my
I
God.
need to go dance around the house a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. But would you mind doing a closing? I think you want to do a chakra meditation. Is that right, or something else today, or what would you like to do?
Yeah, not after this conversation, I think. I think we're just going to take some nice deep breaths.
Okay, beautiful. I love it.
Right. We're just going to take some nice deep breaths. Let's get in touch with our body for a moment. So, yeah, let's just do it nice and easy. Okay. So, yeah. So, if you're at home and you're sitting, get your spine nice and straight. And you can either have your feet flat on the floor, or if you're cross legged, that's fine. Keeping your spine straight is great. Or if you'd like to lie down, go ahead and lie down and put some pillows under your knees, under your shins and calves and ankles, so that your feet are slightly elevated. Yeah. And let your body begin to settle. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and hold for a beat. And exhale through your mouth. Long and slow. And again, inhale through your nose and hold for a beat. And exhale through your mouth. Long and slow. And just breathe easy. Very easy. And one more time, inhale and hold. And exhale through the mouth. Long and slow. And breathe easy. Feeling your body expanding and contracting with that breath. in and out. The breath goes in easily and out easily. And if you're having struggles with breathing, let those breaths be small. Small breath in, and a small breath out. Allowing your body to do what it can in its own way. And now placing your attention on your sense of hearing, allowing the sounds to come in and go out. They're just sounds. Sounds of traffic, or maybe people walking by. Maybe the sounds of crows going home for the night, or dogs barking. The sounds just come and go. The way the breath comes and goes, easily and effortlessly. And now placing your attention on your body, noticing the temperature of the room where you are, noticing the temperature on your exposed skin, sensing the hair on your head, the jewelry, noticing your clothes, what's tight, what's loose, what's soft, what's scratchy. Feeling yourself sitting in the chair or lying on the floor. Noticing your feet in your shoes, or perhaps your feet are barefoot. Just noticing your feet, noticing your body. And if you have any discomforts or pains, allow them to just be there. Let them come and go. It just comes and goes. The way the breath comes and goes. And if you're thinking or have some memories or ideas, allow them to just come and go. The way the thoughts come and go, the way the breath comes and goes. Feeling this body, the body with the breath with the mind with the spirit, in this moment now. And here's a thought that I love to remember. Feeling your body sitting in the chair, knowing that your body is supported by the chair or the floor. Knowing that the chair is supported by the floor beneath you. Knowing that the floor is supported by the building. Knowing that the building is supported by the ground. Knowing that the ground is supported by the earth. Sensing and knowing that the earth is supported by the orbit. Sensing and knowing that the orbit is supported by the universe. And so, in essence, you too are also supported by the universe. Sense that, know that, feel the comfort in that, and just breathe with that for a moment. And come back in and open your eyes.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you,
Always
Jay.
such a pleasure to end with your meditations, no matter what one you do each week. It really is just a great way to end this circle with you wonderful people out there as well. So thank you for that time you take to do that with us. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much, Jemima. Thanks for
Great.
the conversation.
Yeah, awesome. And guys, remember, your feelings are all valid and okay. To own them. And we got this world. Hey. Hey, and one of these sleazy things I have to say, guys, sorry, is don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I know, kind of takes away the whole thing, but hey, we've got to do it. And do spread the word. If you find friends maybe like to join us in this conversation, just get the word out there that we are here. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Peace out. Bye, Darcy.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Jemima.
Bye.
Bye.